Hey guys, it's Erin, and I'm very excited to be doing something very new tonight. So, I have this new software that I'm going to be trying out, and I'm going to be talking tonight about something that I don't talk about a lot, but is a pretty big part of my life, which is gaming, more specifically PC gaming. So, if this isn't something that you find particularly interesting, I hope you can still enjoy it in a rambly sort of way, a relaxing sort of way. And so I'm going to try something new with the screen share and the little circle that is me so we can all see the same thing together. And I would really love to know what you guys think about this because, as you'll see in a couple minutes, I could easily do many more of these. So I always want to make sure that I do what you guys are interested in. So any feedback is very appreciated. Okay, so you can see on the screen here, we are on GOG.com, and GOG stands for Galaxy of Games. Just so you know, this is not sponsored in any way. I just found this site during the pandemic, and it so changed my life for the best. Gave me lots of entertainment and a lot of old games that I had missed playing. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to bring you over to my profile up here, and you can see that my GOG username is Whisper Can Do It. And this is kind of funny because obviously I do ASMR videos, so I whisper a lot, but it's actually a reference to a King's Quest game and something that one of the funny characters says a lot. So, as you can see here, I have 106 games and 24 in my wish list. So, I have quite the list of games, and I will show you my profile on here. If you are a Galaxy of Games user, I don't have any friends yet, so I'd love to be friends with you. So you can see that I have 106 games, 83 achievements, and 158 hours played. I know for a lot of people that is amateur numbers, but I haven't been playing for that long. I haven't been using the site for that long. So, you can see that I started using it in January of 2021, and this is my little bio here. As someone who has been playing games since I was 3 years old, I'm so excited to have found a platform where I can enjoy some games I thought I'd never get to play again on newer machines. Some of my favorites over the years are King's Quest, Space Quest, Kyrandia, Monkey Island, and Thimbleweed Park. I also enjoy older DOS games like Crystal Caves, Commander Keen, and Captain Comic. And I am really excited to play some old favorites and also some games that I always wanted to try but never got a chance to. And that's definitely been true of my experience on here. And they let you pick your background. So my background is a scene from Monkey Island. So, as it says here in the bio, it is actually true. When I was a little kid, like 3 years old, my dad was a computer programmer. That was his job when I was a kid. So we had computers in our house at a super young age. So I grew up from very little with computers in the house. I know a lot of people didn't, especially in the late 80s, early 90s, which is when I was using computers. It wasn't common. So we always had kid-friendly games like Chip and Dale, or learning games like word crunchers and number crunchers and stuff like that. But my dad was super into adventure games, and so we would play with him, watch him play, and then eventually started playing on our own. And so I was using DOS, like writing DOS prompts as like a 4 and 5-year-old. And I've just been always super familiar with computers and loved computer games. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of my favorite older games, like the games that I grew up on. And that's why I said that if you like these videos, I can make lots more, because I'm only going to kind of go over like 4 or 5 of them. And I have 106 games. So they're all in a variety of different genres, and older, newer, kind of middle of the road. Some are animated, some are more like adventure or funny or whatever. So I'm going to show you my like absolute favorites from back in the day. So first one that we are going to look at is King's Quest, because King's Quest is my super favorite. And I always forget on here that they always want you to do the apostrophe, which is, come on. Alright, so as you can see here, it is made by the company Sierra, a very great gaming company. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 7 and 8. So my personal favorites are 5, 6, and 7. The first couple of them, 1, 2, and 3, were a little before my time. 1986, the year I was born. And they are text-based adventures. The ones where you have to type in, like, look at rock, and I am not a big fan of those. So we will click here first to 4, 5, and 6. And the thing I really like about this site is it gives you screenshots, a description, and then lots of reviews. So the release date for these games, or at least the first one, was September 1992, which is about when I would have been playing them. And so I will read the little description here for you. It says, "Life is easy in the magical kingdom of Daventry, at least so long as the Graham family is at its helm. The wonderful, surreal land filled with fantasy creatures and untold wonders is just waiting to reveal its secrets to you, if you so wish. Take part in the adventures of Princess Rosella, trying to save her father from certain death. Help the brave king retake his family and castle from the hands of the ruthless wizard Mordak. Then join Prince Alexander in finding and saving his significant other in the land of the Green Isles." And this, like I said, is a series of games. So it says the King's Quest Saga, one of the most famous adventure games released by Sierra. And so they have names. So 4 is The Perils of Rosella, 5 is Absence Makes the Heart Grow Yonder, and 6 is Ere Today, Gone Tomorrow. So the screenshots you can see, this is number 4. It's pretty old school. And then this is number 5. This is probably my second favorite one, with King Graham, and you can see the animation is very 1992. And then this one is my favorite one. This is King's Quest 6 with Prince Alexander. And this one is really great. I think this is regarded as potentially one of the greatest adventure games of all time. I've played it many times and I never get sick of it. The puzzles are great, the dialogue is great, the art is great, And it does give you a couple of options for which way you can go. It's not set in stone, which is kind of cool. And then this one is also 4 again, so we went back to the beginning. This is another one from my favorite with Prince Alexander. And number 4, again, you can definitely tell the animation quality goes way up as the games get newer. Number 5. Number 6. In this particular puzzle, you have to convince each of them of what you are. So the one guy has really big hands so he can feel. It's supposed to be representative of the 5 senses. So it's like touch, sight, smell, hearing, and taste. And you have to use your inventory items to convince them that you're not human, that you're something else. So that's that. And then, so that's 4, 5, and 6. And then the other one, I grouped them together. This one is 7 and 8. I prefer number 7. I actually have never played King's Quest 8. And I'm debating on whether or not I ever want to, because for whatever reason, it doesn't include any of the characters from the previous 7, even though it's like a whole famous storyline. So, King's Quest 7 is called The Princeless Bride, and you go against like an evil enchantress, and it's pretty cool. So this is from King's Quest 7, the one that I do like, and you can see that the art again is upgraded, and so it was a lot of fun to play this one. Really good voice acting, kind of funny too. So that is my favorite for King's Quest, and this one came out in 1998. The next favorite of mine, which is also a series, is called Kyrandia, or The Legend of Kyrandia. And you can see there is 3 games. I own all of them. You can see owned. So they're all really good, and they're all very different. And you play 3 different characters in the same world. So in this first one, you play, let's see, I'll just read it for you. It says, Kyrandia is the land of dark, mysterious forests and sleeping dragons, a fantastic land where rubies grow on trees and magic abounds. Who would imagine that a land so idyllic would spawn a murderer so demented? Some say that the court jester Malcolm was mad to begin with. Others whisper in sly, conspiratorial tones that it was his burning desire to possess the precious Kyra gem that slowly drove him to slay the peaceful King William. As the rightful Prince of Kyrandia, you must pursue the elusive Malcolm to recover the powerful gemstone. Only then will you be able to reclaim the throne and restore harmony to the land of Kyrandia. So yeah, this is from 1992 as well. And in this game, you play as Brandon, who is the prince, like the one who's going to be king. Very similar graphics to King's Quest because it was around the same time. That one, King's Quest, was made by Sierra, and this one is made by Westwood Studios. But it's the same time frame. So the thing I like about Kyrandia is that even though it has a great story and it is sort of mystical and magical, it's also really sarcastic and funny. So it's there's Brandon and there's Malcolm. Some of the screenshots from the Kyrandia series are kind of classic because uh, even though they are computer games and a lot of it is text based, you can still, the humor comes through really well, and it's really funny to me. So yeah, there's lots of fun in this game. So that's the first one, and I do really like this one. My favorite is number 2, and that is called The Hand of Fate. And in this game, you play as Xanthia. And that is, it says, the land of Kyrandia is disappearing piece by piece, and you are the offbeat young mystic who must voyage to the center of the world to break the curse and save it. Your surreal journey will twist even the sharpest of minds. Traveling through a vast, weirdly beautiful terrain, you must concoct potions, cast spells, and lure the help of some very bizarre inhabitants to uncover the secrets that doom Kyrandia. So, and because this is the second one, it talks about challenging puzzles, new characters, and this one was from 1993, so it was only the year after. So it's very similar in nature. The main difference with this one is that obviously you're a woman, you're a Xanthia, and you have a spell book and a cauldron. So there's a lot of mixing potions and recipes and things like that. She's also very sarcastic. Like, she complains sometimes about the weather and it's too cold up here for this outfit, and then she'll just change her outfit. And so that's her like kind of boyfriend, Marco, who's really annoying. Flying on a dragon, Marco. So another one, and I don't know if it's common of this time, but I feel like the voice acting is so good. Like, it's so spot on, the people that they picked to voice the characters. So that one is definitely my favorite of the 3, even though they're all good. And then the last one, which is really interesting, is book 3, and this is Malcolm's Revenge. In this game, you actually play as the bad guy. So it says, your country despises you, your underworld beckons you, even pirates reject you, and your toupee smells like squirrel. Long hated by everyone who's anyone, you're Malcolm, the infamous court jester of Kyrandia, and you're granted one last chance to save your misunderstood hide. A perceived villain almost never gets to tell his or her side of the story. In the third and final book of the Kyrandia series, we'll finally discover Malcolm's take on the events that have transpired in the first game. So the interesting thing about this game, and I don't know if it's going to show us or not. So that's Malcolm. So it's not showing me on here. There's Elvis, but he's like trying to check into the afterworld, and they misspelled his name. It says Levis. Okay, so it's not showing it on here, but in this game, which is really unique, I think some people might hate it and some people would love it. When in the actual gameplay, there's a meter, which is evil, neutral, and good. And depending on who you meet, and if you want to sort of like trick them or come off a certain way, you can change the meter. And sometimes you can be like really sweet and nice to people, and sometimes you can be really mean or like lie to them or sort of whatever. And I thought I was gonna hate it, and I actually really liked it. I could kind of tell which situations called for which. And then later on in the game, there's a specific part where they let you choose one or the other. And depending on which one you choose, that's the way that the game will end or the way that the game will go. So it's a very interesting perspective to play as the bad guy, especially when you've played the first two games, like kind of battling this person. I found it to be a very cool perspective. So that's the Kyrandia series. And then two more. So the next one is called Space Quest. And this is also by Sierra. They really like their quest games. And it is grouped into 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So this is another one that has a very long series of lots of different games. The first one came out in 1989. So similar to the King's Quest games, I don't really know a ton about the first three because they were all text-based ones. But 4, 5, and 6 were grouped together, which I thought were really cool. The thing about Space Quest, which is different from King's Quest, is that these games are actually made to be really funny. They're more humorous than the King's Quest ones were. So it's the description isn't super great, but it says, experience a blast from the past with 3 games from the Space Quest series. As Roger Wilco, a heroic janitor, you're up against screwy space aliens with the fate of the universe in your dishpan hands. Travel with him to exotic worlds, meet strange life forms, and laugh yourself silly as you journey through hours of hilarious adventure. And the games are Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers, The Next Mutation, and Roger Wilco in the Spinal Frontier. And I mean, this is subjective, but it does say the funniest sci-fi themed adventure game series ever created. Kind of agree with that, but I also really, really love these games. And I didn't mention it in the other one, but if you go down, you can see lots of reviews. And so this is for all the games that are on Galaxy of Games. So this has an overall rating of 4.6 out of 5. And it talks about just how much Space Quest 6 was the best one, apparently. So these are some of the screenshots. So the guy Roger Wilco, basically what it comes down to in the game is Roger Wilco, he wants to be a captain. It's almost sort of like a Star Trek thing, but the main character is like a bumbling idiot. So he wants to be a captain, he wants to be a big deal, but he's always messing stuff up and breaking things. And he is a space janitor, his official thing is, I think it's sanitation engineer or something like that. And so he, even though he's just a janitor, he always ends up finding himself in an adventure where he ultimately proves himself and gets recognized, and he fumbles his way through it, obviously with you as the character, but it's one of those situations. There's a bit of adult humor, as you can see. That's definitely a part of it. Nothing super unacceptable, or I played it as a kid and I guess some of the stuff just went over my head, but there are some suggestive things, I would say. This one is the last one, and you can tell how very different the animation was. Super, super different from the first two. Again, you can see there's some babes in this. Nobody's naked or anything, though. It's just the animation. Commander Kielbasa. It's very 90s humor. That's one of the like aliens that you run into. So I'm probably doing, or maybe this website is doing a bad job of explaining it, but it is kind of like funny Star Trek, I guess. And then the last one, which I know a lot of people have heard of and is one of my absolute favorite games of all time, is Monkey Island. So there is 5 of them. So we have, well, this one is like the complete season. But so this is obviously number 2. And then there's one which is from 1997, which is the original one. And then there is the second one from 2000. And then you can see there's like a huge jump. And there was 2009 and then 2010. So this is a very strange kind of thing, but long story short, it was originally made by LucasArts, and there's a lot of jokes in the game that there's a 5-series contract. It's an animated thing, so it's like a total joke, but they only made 4 games. LucasArts only made 4 games. So you can see down here in 2009, it was made by Telltale Games, and I think they bought the rights to it so they could finally finish out the story. I own all of these, as you can see, because it's the best. So we'll start with this one because it'll probably have the best explanation. Actually, no. Okay, so some of these, like where it says special edition, it is remastered. So even though it says 2009, it's not actually 2009, it's remastered. So it's a special edition. Sorry, I'm being clicky with this. Okay. So the main character of this game is named Guybrush Threepwood, which is obviously a very wacky name, and that's kind of part of it. So he is a wannabe pirate, and he kind of has like a very boyish look to him. Like he's not scary or anything. He's just a very like unassuming young man who wants to be a fearsome pirate. And there is a bad pirate, like a really bad dude named LeChuck, and that is the guy that you have to fight in the first game. So it is, it's a point-and-click adventure game. You can see that it uses a really unique interface, or over here where you can click like pick up thing or talk to person. The creators of Monkey Island actually created this system. They're the inventors of it, and many people went on to use this system. So it's actually like a pretty innovative thing. So there's Guybrush, and you can see the graphics as they get better over time. That's the original, and then this is the remastered. All of the games, I believe, were remastered except for the last one, which was made in the late 2000s anyway. So you basically have to go from island to island and complete different puzzles. There's a romance element of it when you become romantically involved with the governor of one of the islands. And this game is genuinely funny. Like, it's so, so funny. And there's lots of different, like so many different puzzles, so many different songs. Like there's some sea shanties in there, and just everything about it. You end up in jail a bunch of times. It's really hard to explain, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's also available on PlayStation 2, which is pretty unique. I have played it on PlayStation 2. And you can, people are complaining about the, what's it called, the remastering, and also the fact that maybe it doesn't load on their machine, but that's their fault. It's a 4.6 out of 5 overall. And yeah, it is so much fun. One of the best, and also very, very good voice acting as well. That is one of the features on here is I find that a lot of these games, they just seem to pick the absolute perfect people to voice the characters. Well, this one's number 2, and then it's interesting. You can see some of the later games, they have a very 3D sort of boxy effect to them, and that's just what was popular at the time that the game was made. Other games at that time look exactly the same, and it didn't bother me that the animation changed so much over time. And then the very, very last one, the most recent one, is also just extremely updated because it was made much, much later than the rest of them. Thankfully, even though the animation style changed because it took like 9 or 10 years to make all of them, all of the humor and everything was retained throughout the entire thing. All the same characters were there, and the story was preserved, so they just got better and better every time. So yeah, I don't want to make this too long in case you guys don't like it. So again, if you are somebody who uses this galaxy of games, you can check out my profile and my games and my I have no friends. I don't know how you become friends on here, but I would love to, because then it shows you your achievements and stuff versus other people. And I think you can see the activity feed. Like, I started yesterday playing a game called Full Throttle. It's like an old school game I've never played before. And you can see all the different ones that I've played and have been playing. And the games that I have, I believe you can see all of them. And the achievements that are there. So please let me know what you think about going through some of these games, because I can go through some of the other ones of the 106 that I have. I can tell you which ones I like the best, which ones I like the worst. I can take requests. I can actually play some of the games and like narrate them. So I am more than happy to do whatever you guys are interested in. And thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very, very soon.